The lesson.
Oh yeah.
As someone who, has put in the countless hours, into practicing for something like winning a DMC title. I mean, 2 DMC titles. Why is it that
I had to pull you out there. I mean,
what is it that, what's the main drive that pushes you to actually compete in these things and try to win them?
That's a fucking easy, man. It's to prove it. It's to take the conversation out of it, man. Talk's cheap. You know what I mean? Perfect analogy. You play basketball, right? Yeah. So let's say I've got a basketball ring at my house, invite you over, we shoot hoops. Now you'll be shooting threes. You're not missing. I'm like, man, you're like the best 3-point shooter I've ever seen. I'm like, come and play with my team. Yeah. And you come play my team, and all of a sudden you're there in front of the crowd in a game. You can't fucking hit 1 3. You know what I mean? Like being dope in your bedroom, or being dope in front of a GoPro, taking 100 takes to get it perfect is one thing. To be able to stand in front of a crowd and world-class judges sitting there with a notepad and a whole crowd of people not there to dance, that's a completely different thing as well. It's about taking the conversation out of it. You know what I mean? It's pretty easy to be dope in your bedroom. You know what I mean? And that's what I was talking to you before about being dope at, okay, you could be dope at scratching, you can be dope at juggling. You need to be able to put the scratching and the juggling together in a routine and make it entertaining over 6 minutes and perform it in front of a live crowd. That's what separates, winning and doing that and just being good in your bedroom. I guess guys that end up going on with it and pushing, it's about not being content with compliments. You know what I mean? Like I'd been complimented a lot from friends. Oh, that's dope, that's really good. And I'm like, well, I want to fucking take this outside of this circle, and I want to see if they think it's dope. Because I don't know them, and they haven't had a couple beers, and you know what I mean. They're not wanting to sleep with my sister or anything like that. I don't have a sister, but you get what I'm trying to say. And then all of a sudden, like you enter your first battle, and whether it goes bad or good, and then all of a sudden, like you're getting a reaction from the crowd, and man, it's just a completely different nutshell altogether. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I guess, there is no conversation in terms of, who's got the top spot. You've got it. You've had it for 2 years. What would you say to, people who might pose, yeah, well, he won it this year, but if he was competing in, the early 2000s or when Stain was competing, he wouldn't be sitting here with a title?
Man, all those conversations are going to be had. You know what I mean? I have no control over that. I have no control over what people think of my routines, or people talking. I mean, like I said before, that was why it was so important for me to come back and defend, because I knew there may have been a bit of stigma about the G Smooth thing, and people thinking, oh, they just didn't want him to go. They probably just handed it to Osiris because of what happened with Red Bull. That's why I came back the way I did. Man, I have no control over what fucking people think. They can think. I couldn't really give a fuck what they think, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like I won those titles. I went to London twice to represent my country and stood on that world stage, and busted out 6 minutes on the other side of the world. No one can take those memories away. All my titles. You know what I mean? Like you've either got a couple jackets or you don't. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm better than Dexter or Steinman or anyone. Those guys are my idols. You know what I mean? But to be able to stand on that same stage and to be in that line of Australian champions means the fucking world to me, and it's something that I'm really, really proud of. Yeah.
The lesson.
927. Oh, yeah.